Hi, I'm Miss Haley with the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library. And for today's STEM activity, I'm going to show you guys how to make a balloon scream. And it's not like a really loud, high-pitched, scary scream, but it does kind of sound pretty shrill. So what you will need for this project is some balloons, some latex balloons. They don't have to be latex. You could try other materials if you wanted to, or if you're allergic to latex, definitely don't use a latex balloon. I have two different kinds today. I have a just regular balloon. I got it in the party supply store aisle, and it's just a regular latex balloon. I also have a clear latex balloon. They're almost exactly the same. The only difference is that one is colored and one isn't. This one's a little smaller too. And that might also affect things. So today we're going to try an experiment to see which balloon, does it work with both balloon types, and does it change the sound at all to have a different balloon type. They're the same material, so we don't have to worry about material being different, but we do have different colors and we have different sizes. So this one is just a little bit smaller. The clear balloon is just a little bit smaller than my colored balloon. So we're going to see if that impacts things. You guys at home could take this experiment further by adding more balloon types. You could add different balloon shapes, maybe one of those long balloons, maybe also a little water balloon, different balloon materials. There's a lot of varieties of balloon out there, so you guys can try this with a couple different varieties, more than I've got here, and take this experiment even further. So you'll need some balloons. You will also need at least one hex nut per balloon. You don't need more than one per balloon, but you need however many balloons you have, you need that same number of hex nuts. So I have 2 balloons, so I have 2 hex nuts. And if you don't know what a hex nut is, it is a nut is a type of material. It's metal usually, and it screws down onto a screw, and it kind of provides like a back to that screw. So if you're using a screw to screw into something, or a bolt particularly to screw into something and hold it down, you would put this on the other side to make a sandwich. So a hex nut looks like this, and it's called a hex nut because it is a hexagon, so it has 6 sides. So that is a hex nut, and you need one of those for every balloon that you have. So if you have 2 balloons, you need 2 hex nuts. If you have 6 balloons, you need 6 hex nuts. So before we do our project, though, I want to talk a little bit about sound and how sound works so that we understand what might be happening in our experiment when we do our experiment. So sound is caused by vibrations, and those vibrations in turn cause sound waves, which make their way to our ear, and our brain interprets it as sound. So everything starts out as a vibration. The way these make noise is we were going to put the hex nut inside the balloon, blow it up, and we're going to spin the balloon. And it takes a little bit to get the spin motion, but once that hex nut starts spinning the balloon, it'll start repetitively striking the side of the balloon, and it will create a vibration around in that balloon, and that will produce the screaming noise that we're going to hear. So to test this, to kind of illustrate how sound is made from vibrations, I want you guys to put your hand on your throat, just kind of below, right above your collarbone, and just hum. Go hum. And you will feel those vibrations with your hand from your vocal cords. And those are your vocal cords making vibrations that produce sound. So sound, what I think is going to happen in this experiment, my hypothesis is, so we're going to have a hypothesis for our experiment. My hypothesis is that the pitch will change based on balloon size. Now, I am not sure, I don't know enough about pitch personally. I have not studied enough to know whether the pitch will go up when the balloon is smaller or whether it will go down when the balloon is smaller. I suspect it will go up, but I could be entirely wrong. I just don't know enough about that. So we're going to find that out today as well. But my hypothesis is that the pitch will change based on the size of the balloon. So what is pitch? What am I talking about? Pitch is whether or not something is high or low. Not something, whether sound is high or low. So a high pitch would be something really high, a high loud note like ah. That's a high pitch, whereas low pitch is very low, so like a bass tone. So pitch, how does pitch happen? Pitch is determined by the sound waves, and it's determined by particularly the frequency of the sound waves, meaning how often do we get a peak? How often do those sound waves repeat? So if we have a sound wave like this, that's going to be a really low pitch versus a sound wave like this. So we have a peak here, a peak here, a peak here. So that's our repeating peak. Whereas here, they're much more frequent. So you can say that those peaks come more quickly on this one. So that is the high pitch. And this top one here is the low pitch because it has a lower frequency. So that's how sound works. Very basically. There's a lot more complicated science behind sound, but that is the basics of what we're doing today. So to do our project, what you're going to need to do is you're going to take your hex nut and you're going to put it down into your balloon. You want to make sure, I'm going to show you on this clear one because you can really actually see it. You want to make sure that hex nut goes all the way to the bottom of your balloon. That'll help you when you are blowing it up to keep from getting that in your mouth or worse, inhaling it. We're going to do the same over here. You just don't want it caught in the neck. You want to make sure it's all the way down into the balloon. So when you blow these up, if you are using your own breath, be very careful that you don't accidentally inhale that hex nut. Blow it up, blow out into the balloon, and then when you're ready to breathe in, take the balloon away from your mouth and then breathe in. So don't ever breathe in when the balloon is still pressed to your mouth. I have a handy dandy balloon pump, which is what I use to blow up my balloons. And I've already blown them up, so you don't have to sit here and watch me blow up a balloon forever. I have already blown up 2 balloons. So there's one, my colored balloon, and 2, my clear balloon with a hair on it. Gross. So the clear balloon is really cool just by itself because you can see the hex nut in there. So you can see it spinning around. You could look up centripetal force too, because that's the force that's going to send this hex nut around and around our balloon. That's pretty cool too. But we're focusing on the sound side today. But the clear balloon's pretty neat because you can see that hex nut in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your balloon, you're going to hold it in your hand, and you're going to start spinning it around. And you got to spin it around the same direction. It can be hard to do at first. Your hex nut might bounce around at first until you get the motion down. But once you do, whoops, I messed up. But once you do, you'll hear that shrill noise, that sort of buzzing sound on your balloon. I'm really bad at keeping it going. But that's what that balloon sounded like. And we're going to set it aside, and we're going to do now our big old latex balloon. So you guys can see how the difference here. I didn't blow them up all the way. You can definitely blow these balloons up a lot more. You don't want to blow them up all the way though, because we're about to like bang something around in it and we don't want it to pop. So you want it to be a little bit looser than it could be. But these are still pretty full, and you can see the size difference maybe. It's hard to see. Maybe you can't. But this one is a little bit smaller than the other one. I need a better camera angle to show that, I guess. But we're going to spin this one around. Let's see. That one. You can hear that sound dying down there. this one was a little higher, the colored balloon, the larger balloon, but I could be wrong. I'd have to kind of get them going at the same time, which is hard to do. I need a partner for that. But test it out, get a couple opinions, not just yours. Listen to how that sound, what that sound sounds like, and let us know what you find out with the balloons you use at home. We'd love to hear from you. I hope you enjoy our STEM science for today and join us again for some soon. Thank you.